Contentment is not the enemy of ambition. Contentment is not the enemy of ambition. In fact, when our hearts and our motives are purified, if you will, particularly if we're doing what Paul instructed us to do back in verse 8, which we'll get to later on, right, when he said to dwell on things that are pure. So if our heart and our motives are pure, then we can have both ambition and contentment working side by side in tandem. Can you picture a life like that? Where you're both enormously ambitious, but yet content. Some people struggle with only being able to do one or the other at the same time. If I'm overly ambitious, then I'm endlessly frustrated when my ambitions don't come to fruition. So then some people think, well, the answer to that is just to not really desire to do much. And they call that contentment. But what I'm arguing is that contentment is not the enemy of ambition. It is not absent ambition. It's not. Right? They work in tandem together. Being content is not the same as being complacent or merely settling for what exists right now. That's not what contentment is. Brothers and sisters, I say that this is so very important for us to understand, because if we do not get this right, then what we can end up doing is using the goodness of pursuing contentment and the idea of being content as an excuse to explain away and to justify our laziness. Have you never seen this done? I'm just content with what this is. So that doesn't justify laziness. We know this from Jesus in the parable of the talents. He called the one who didn't invest the talent you wicked and lazy servant. So we got to get this right, because we don't want to use the goodness of pursuing contentment and the idea of being content also as cover for or a way to justify a lack of faith.